I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Thursday, April 6th Personnel and Administration meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Tyus.
Present. Present.
Alderman Odenberg.
Present.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Present.
Alderwoman Rice.
Present.
Alderman Narayan.
Here.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Present.
Alderman Page.
Present.
President Green. I think she's frozen.
I think that's right. You can probably continue with this part, and I can take over from here until we get it back.
Alderman Cone. Okay. So we have 8 present. We have a quorum.
Okay. Seeing we've got minutes for the March 30th and March 31st meetings in our drive. I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderman Odenberg.
Aye. Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Aye.
Alderwoman Rice.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Present.
We're voting on the minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't here for the meeting, so I'm going to vote present on the minutes.
Okay. Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Aye.
Alderman Page.
Aye.
President Green. Alderman Cone. We have 6 aye votes and 1 present.
All right, by your vote, you've sustained the motion to approve the minutes. At the moment, I would say we give it just a minute and let President Green get back on here. She should be back. I think her computer just kicked her. And because I'm not sure what she wanted to do for next steps here. So if we could just hold. Oh, she's saying she can't get back in.
It looks like the next, excuse me, Madam Vice Chairwoman, it looks like the next step is that I see here, it's the committee discussions, item number 1, closing the meeting. So that looks like what we have next on the agenda. We don't have any board bills review or resolutions for review.
Okay. I think that's right. I want to, hang on one second.
Understood.
Ms. Tyus raised her hand.
Oh, sure. Alderman Tyus.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out why Mr. Bryson is here. Is he supposed to be a speaker on something?
That's a good question. Last time we were here, because it was a meeting and not a seminar, STLTV said there was something different about participants versus viewers. And so then we went into closed session. We went into a different room and they stayed here. So I think Mr. Bryson knows not to enter the meeting unless he's recognized.
That's what I wanted to make sure, is that when we went into closed session, that
right.
didn't happen.
Yeah, that's last time when we went into closed session, we went into a different room. And so those
right, that's what's supposed to happen. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so President Green says we don't need to go into closed session if we're just discussing the job description. So I think we were considering last meeting the job description, potentially updating job descriptions for executive secretary and receptionist. Do you all remember? I don't know, Aura, if there was any updated or if we were just voting to I think we voted to repost those positions though, so I'm not sure.
During the closed session?
Yeah,
I wasn't in the closed session.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sharita.
Yes. So are we discussing what
happen? What do you
I
want?
think we don't need to go into closed session unless we're discussing specifics about particular candidates. So I think our formal motions to repost positions or approve job descriptions, I think that should happen in open session. So do you know, last week, we discussed reposting these positions, right?
We will be reposting the executive secretary position and the receptionist position.
Okay.
It's a couple, a verbiage that they want to put in the job description and talking about the skills test and everything, and possibly taking different, I believe Alderwoman Tyus mentioned like a mail merge stuff. So we're in the process, the clerk and I, along with the president's office, of getting together a skill set test. So moving forward, the secretaries that apply will be required to take this test.
Okay, great.
And the clerk did contact personnel, and to my understanding, they do not have anything like a test or anything that they administer. So that's something that we will have to create.
Okay. President Green, we're just discussing what our next steps are here as a committee. So if you want to take back over, you're muted though.
All right, sorry about that. I don't seem to have any internet at my house at the moment. So having to call it on my phone. So what we wanted to discuss today was the job description and the hiring process that we want to go through for legislative assistants. So we took a first stab at a job description, which is in, I think, let's see, I'm trying to navigate
Committee
this.
discussions.
In committee discussions. Okay, I can't get any of these things to open. So I might need a little bit of help here until I get some internet back. Yeah, I can't get anything.
Should we share the screen?
Oh, yeah,
Somebody could share their screen, that would be helpful, because I can't get anything to work on my computer at the moment.
Sure. Let me make sure I've got this open in its own window, and then I can share. We can go through it. 1 second. Mine needs to take its sweet time too. Man, is everybody's internet just taking a break today? Goodness gracious. Okay, I've got it open. Let me share this. Okay, can we see this? Do I need to make it bigger?
No, we can see it.
All right. So I think what we need to talk through is, looking over the kind of duties and the qualifications, and are there things that are included here that should not be included? Are there things that we need to add that are not there?
Is this just a discussion format, or are you wanting to call on us?
Just discussion.
Okay. I like the appreciation for lively discussion as a desired qualification. That's important.
Can I ask, Madam President, how you envision hiring for these processes to work?
I think that's going to be the next discussion that we have after the job description.
Okay. All right, I'll stop scrolling around here. See if I can get this on.
Can you scroll back up to the top?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that it looks like is missing is, email and phone capabilities, and, depending on the alderperson's assignments, how much email and phone correspondence will be delegated to this person. I'm not entirely sure how to phrase that at the moment, but
would we put that under duties and responsibilities?
I would think so. I would say, there may be something necessary because each alderperson will have a different vision for what their legislative assistant will be helping them with. I think we may need something along those lines to say, this position reports to one specific alderperson, one specific alderperson will be hiring for this position. These duties may change per request from that alderperson and could include email, phone correspondence, and other, other things that other, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know how to phrase that entirely, but I'm wondering if any of you all who are on here who will be serving going forward have anything that's not listed here that you would want to add as sort of a other duties as assigned that we could be a little bit more descriptive about.
I'd like to see just anything with social media type stuff, just any familiarity with social media.
That's smart, like communication skills. I guess that's, in here, definitely attending neighborhood meetings and groups like that, but
communication skills. Okay.
I don't think we should get too much in the weeds because everybody's needs will be different, because I don't care about social media at all. I got off of it. It's been the best thing for me. I never was on Twitter, and I got off Facebook, and that's been wonderful. I think this is pretty good. If we start to get too specific, people start to expect that's what they're going to do. I think we just need an outline, kind of, so that everybody is kind of on the same page. Like, you don't have to have a bachelor's degree for me. If you have secretarial skills, interpersonal skills, and not secretarial, but administrative skills, and you have interpersonal skills, and you can go to meetings and represent me, and you can get in contact with constituents, I'll love that, okay? If we can ride the ward together and talk about what's happening, you can never have a bachelor's degree for me, long as you knew how to, and I will train you. That's the other thing. I can train you what I need you to do, and everybody, I think, will have to train their person to what they need, depending on their ward's needs.
Annie, can you scroll down to the qualifications again? Sure. So I'm just looking at, okay, we do have like proficiency in Microsoft Office.
Right.
and stuff in there.
So I'm not seeing any screen any longer. I was, but it's no longer showing for me.
Everybody else still see it?
I still do.
Yeah,
I do.
Still have it.
Can you maybe stop sharing and reshare, Annie? Maybe.
Sure. Are you on a phone or something that maybe you just scrolled away from it?
I am on my phone, but I've scrolled through all of the screens on the phone, and I'm not seeing it anywhere.
All right, we'll do this. Come back.
I also want to say that a lot of people will not know the legislative process of the Board of Aldermen. So that's not a requirement. I mean, that's nice. That would be nice unless if you hire a previous alder person, but if you get somebody that's a go-getter, that's new, that's okay with me. I can teach them that.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Alderwoman Tice, especially on that first one, that experience demonstrating educational equivalency, I wonder if we just put experience that the alderperson, finds valuable or something like that, you know what I mean? So that it encapsulates that you can show that your willingness to do the job and your competency to learn is really what may be most desired for you.
But I just don't want to. So I would like to take bachelor's degree out because that to me would scare some people away. And there's some people that don't have a bachelor's degree, but are very good at going to meet with constituents, going doing things. So I don't think that's a desired qualification, but I wouldn't put that up at the front because I don't want people not to apply because they think that is something they have to have.
Could we say or relevant experience instead of saying like demonstrating educational equivalency?
Usually the language is or equivalent work experience.
Yes, I think, because then that encompasses both.
And I wonder, again, I feel like I don't want to insert myself here because I'm not hiring for this position, but dropping that down a little bit.
Correct.
To Alderwoman Tice's point. Yeah.
Right. And it's a desired qualification. It's not a required. So it's already different anyway. That could be something one alderperson needs and another person doesn't.
Right.
Can I also just add, I think Alderwoman Rice mentioned, other duties as assigned. That's not actually in here though, from what I can see.
That's a good phrase. I like that.
Sure.
Maybe it was Alderwoman Schweitzer, but someone mentioned it, but it's not actually in here. So
I think this is the place where you would want to extrapolate that, each individual alderperson will be hiring
Correct.
their legislative assistant, and so other duties may arise, right?
Well, and I think up at the top, we could maybe phrase it so that it says, these a little further up where, so duties and responsibilities, this role may vary depending upon the alderperson. So it does mention that at the beginning, and that should be listed with the job description. So not just, here.
So would you want to add it under other duties as assigned and then just say this rule will be vary, this role will vary?
I would probably just reiterate it in that last section as well. So other duties as assigned, this role may vary depending upon alderperson, but the LA could be expected to perform any of the items above in addition to, so maybe take that last or that sentence up at the top, start off the last bullet point saying this role will vary depending upon alderperson, but LA could be expected to do any of the duties listed above, but not limited to the above, and could be assigned other duties.
That's up there and under duties and responsibilities.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's right next to it. I can't highlight it. I like going to highlight it and I'm like, all right.
Which one are you?
Well,
it says duties and responsibilities, parentheses. This role will vary dependent on the alderperson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm just trying to reiterate it, Alderwoman, so that people, you know, if it's in there twice, people will know or should know. Including but not limiting to the items listed above.
Okay.
In addition to other duties may be assigned. Mm-hmm. I think that you know, allows some flexibility with respect to the responsibilities listed, and then also provides us some latitude with additional responsibilities.
Sure. I think it's going to be interesting to collect applications for this, because folks will need to indicate which older person they are applying to work for, right?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if when we post the job description, we need to say like legislative assistant
to,
you know, Alderwoman Schweitzer, First Ward, you know, and do that for each one, so that people are specifically applying for, you know, the older person that they want to work.
That's a good idea.
That makes sense. And then they can send the resume into multiple older people. And maybe we could, should we know if people are interviewing for more than one person?
Well,
I mean, you'll have a list of names that we get, so we'll know because of that. Got it.
Understand the process is they are still going to have to come through personnel committee. So I think what's going to have to happen is the personnel committee will have to work with the older person, because there still will have to be, I think, an interview process. And so I think we'll have to go and probably set up meetings with each individual older person as a personnel committee and go through that process.
So I don't understand why we would do that, because like you hire your own staff. That doesn't go through personnel committee. The president doesn't. I don't understand bringing people through a personnel committee who would tell you, no, I don't think this is a good person for you. I think that we're trying to get a set of expectations that are pretty much the same for everyone, but who I want to work for me is who I want to work for me. And I don't want anybody else telling me who that should be, because nobody knows the 12th ward, which is mostly the old 20th ward and the 1st ward, like I do, and what I need. So I don't know if that should be a requirement. I think that I like this so that we're making sure everybody has some of the same skills, but what's the point of going through the personnel committee? What if the personnel committee doesn't want who you want?
Our conversation with the clerk said that we still needed to go through the personnel committee process because these are considered board hires. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
So I think we could change rules so that the same rules that allow the president to hire their own person, I think that we need to have a rule that says that the person hires that. And I'll look at that myself. And I didn't know that that's what it come to be. I think we can, I don't think they should be board hires. Your legislative assistants are a pretty personal thing. It's enough that you have to share your secretary. You need to have somebody that you trust, that you can work with.
Yeah, I was actually just about to make the same recommendation that if that's the case, we should probably just update our rules to reflect that the LA should be a direct hire of the older person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think that's a realistic way to do it.
Yeah. And would this position be, for lack of better words, because certainly not trying to compare us to the president or anything, but I know the president's board serves at the pleasure of the president. If there's any disagreement, that person, if the president no longer wants that person to be serving on the board, then that person no longer serves on the board. I don't know if, would this position have civil service protections? Would it, like how would that work?
Yeah, there's not civil service protections. And so my understanding is they would serve at the pleasure of the older person.
Okay, so if you got someone and it wasn't working out, you could say this isn't working out.
Correct. I think it would probably behoove us to work. We're working on this overall for the board, but like an HR manual. And so I think that we are going to have to set up some HR policies that are consistent across all, employees of the board. And if there's updates to HR requirements, that we formally give it to people and they sign off on it to put in their employee handbook and things like that. Just so that there is some consistency across positions and expectations, but otherwise I think it's serving at the pleasure of the older person.
But will we add like any kind of progressive termination policy? Like would we say, okay, if you're having problems, do you first write them up, then, or counsel them? Do you then write them up and then termination? Or are we just going to leave it up to each individual alderperson how that happens?
I think we need a standardized process.
Right.
And so I think that one of the things that the personnel committee is going to need to do in this new session is come up with some of those standardized processes for employee evaluations and, if people are needing to be put on like an improvement plan or something, what does that process look like? I think that's going to be next steps for this committee.
Well, if you go into the rules for people who are civil service, they do have some progressive discipline kind of things that we can kind of take out and kind of copy or and then formulate them to work for the Board of Aldermen. But I think they're pretty good because I think that even when you have a legislative assistant, you at least tell them verbally first, like, this is not right. I don't like you doing this. Then, or maybe a written thing if it's something bad enough. Hey, this is writing, so that they know that they're headed toward walking out the door. And we can pull those directly from personnel. And I think that they will cover what we need without having to recreate the wheel.
All right, we will pull those.
I'm pretty sure we do have some limited like employee handbook stuff, policies for the board. The clerk has provided them in the past, but agree we need to be consistent in how we do that, and having, a progressive discipline policy and things of that nature are going to be really important so that we're ensuring consistency across how we handle these hires.
And do we have, I just want to bring something up because this happened before probably any of you all were at the board. We had a sexual harassment problem years ago. And I don't recall, do we have a policy about sexual harassment?
No, but we should.
We should. Yeah. I think that's something that has to go in the HR employee handbook.
And if I could, because there were some incidents that I wish that I had been able to report in some fashion. And the information that I received was that has to go through the personnel committee. And when it's colleague to colleague, it's really difficult to bring that up in this space. So I would love to see that for you all going forward, and for the employees as well, to have a policy and a process worked out where they can remedy some of those things if they come up.
Agreed.
And the reason I bring that up, because if it comes to termination, and especially if it's a male-female situation or vice versa, then that may come up, and we might need to be able to address that.
Agreed. All right, I'm making notes of all the things we need to work on going forward.
Do you want me to keep sharing here? Do you want to go through this some more?
Or are there Well, I guess the question is there additional feedback? Sharita, do the clerks have any feedback?
No, this is Sharita. I looked at it already, and I spoke with all the women, Christine, about it, and I'm fine with it. Looks good to me.
Okay, sounds good.
Does it have anything? I'm just thinking of this and I'm missing it now that we've asked Madam Clerk to give her opinion, but does it say anything about working with other Board of Aldermen staff? I see that it does say Executive Secretary, but obviously this is a lot of team effort. You know, I can imagine the LAs may need to like pitch in when we have crazy things happening at meetings where there's like a million pages to print, you know, some and hand out. Maybe it just says work with Executive Secretary to maintain Alderperson's calendar. It can be a comma, and other Board of Aldermen staff as needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they get an email from Sharita, I want them to know they have to reply. That's required, yes. Love it. Thank you.
I think, Madam President, that would also be interesting. I think like an organizational chart would be good to know, you know, so I imagine our staff, our executive secretaries, and then because if these folks are direct reports to their alderperson, but then could also take direction from the clerk, I think that would probably need to be made explicit in some sort of organizational chart so people know, yes, I should be taking direction from the assistant clerk or the clerk, but somebody else, you know, the receptionist necessarily isn't going to be directing job duties for the legislative assistants. But
I'd love to see an organizational chart of the Board of Aldermen.
Okay.
Just in general. I think people would like to see that in the public too. You know, like where do constituents pop in, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just make sure that the aldermen aren't reporting to the president of the Board of Aldermen on that. It's going to be a really, really big org chart.
I know. Number of times I've had to tell people who call my office, I am not the boss of XYZ alderperson.
Yeah.
Well, the city has a chart out on the website, and it does the mayor. Well, it starts with the voters, does the mayor, and then it has the Board of Aldermen. And so it kind of has a little bit of one. It just doesn't get into the secretaries and everything like that. But there's one that we could use as a starting point.
Love that.
Yeah, I think if I remember that one correctly, Sharon, it has like a box that says Board of Aldermen.
But
like
they report to the voters. It doesn't report. If you look at it,
Correct.
It does not report to the president. The president reports to the voters, the mayor.
Correct.
And if the citizens ever looked at that, they would know that the aldermen are not responsible for demolitions, grass cutting and everything, because it shows that all the directors report to the mayor.
Yeah, no, it's actually a pretty nice org chart that's out there. But it doesn't really dive down into aldermanic staff.
Right, but we could take that from there and then just right.
Okay, well, we can work on putting that together. So do we think, Annie, if we could just move the bachelor's degree one under desired qualifications, if we could move that down?
Sure. Is there something at the top, you know, that you would want to be the top of these desired qualifications?
I mean, I think the one that's under it next is fine.
And maybe to address Alderwoman Tyus's concerns, maybe it does say desired qualifications, but maybe say like bachelor's degree in public administration, bachelor's degree preferred with emphasis and, yada, 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 or equivalent work experience. So maybe put the word preferred after that, so it kind of reemphasizes it as desired.
I wonder if we just move this phrase, if we just move or equivalent work experience up next to bachelor's degree, if that de-emphasizes the degree itself, and then that way it's got, because your real equivalent work experience could be in public administration or political science or social work. But
the term equivalent work experience is in context to the degree, because you already have prior experience working for an elected. You list some of the prior experiences that are there. So, but you can say bachelor's degree preferred, and then, with emphasis in, and then, or equivalent work experience, which would be the equivalent of the experience for a bachelor's degree in any of those fields.
I mean, what is important to me is strong research and analytical skills. For me, you don't have to have anything. You could be a secretary, but if you can do research and analyze and break down complex issues, that's what I need from a legislative assistant.
I don't think we put it last. I think we put it under. I think under what Alderwoman Tyus just said, strong research and analytical skills. I would then put in education under that.
Right.
Yeah, I would kind of actually agree with Alderwoman Tyus. The prior experience working for an elected official, executive, or other leader, I mean, there are some people who might have led projects, who might be individual contributors in a communications capacity or a policy capacity, that have that strong, analytical or research skills, and I would probably add communication skills to that. And it probably that would probably be where I would emphasize, the experience required.
Right. So we do have excellent verbal and written communication and interpersonal skills down here. Do you?
Okay. Well, maybe not communicate, maybe project management. Because I mean, someone who takes on this role, they're going to be juggling a lot of different things. And, I think that the organizational and project management skills would be really important. I just wouldn't want someone getting turned off. The first thing that's there is elected official, and there's so many people who might not have worked for an elected official that would be otherwise qualified for the role.
Sure. That's a good point, Shay.
So, well, in that case, I'm wondering, so this prior experience bringing for an elected official is sort of the same as the bachelor's degree preferred. If we drop both of those things down a little further.
Yeah, or maybe have like or elected official instead of or other leader. Start off with prior experience working for a executive or leader or elected official. So maybe because elected official is so there's not many of them. But there's plenty of people who are in executive or leadership capacities. So maybe we start off with the more broader ones and then kind of narrow it down as an emphasis. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to keep my commas, my Oxford commas. I like them. I'm going to try to stay.
Please do. I'm all about the Oxford.
Fine words.
Okay, so with that, did I freeze again?
No, you're here.
Okay, it looked for a second like I froze again on this thing too. So with that, are we content with the job description?
I think it's a good place to start because, you know, you each will have the opportunity when you interview them to dig in further and ask further questions. And I would say even the same that we've done here with this process, where we've asked for a writing sample or we've asked for a work product or a test, you know, a skills test, that each alderperson could have more qualifications that are important to you that you could communicate through the hiring process, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then with that, I would entertain a motion to post the legislative assistant job descriptions, having one posted for each alderperson.
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
Is this going to be a full-time position?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And it's budgeted at 55,000.
Okay. You mean we make more than our staff for a change? Wow.
We do.
This is the first time ever since I've been at the Board of Aldermen.
And with that 55,000, are there also the benefits that most city employees get?
Yeah, it's pension, health insurance.
But Brendan Ryan is going to give his extra everything over 30 something. He's giving that to, he's going to donate that because he was opposed to that raise, remember. Now, Shane, you didn't vote, so you get yours. Annie, you voted for it, you get yours, but Brett is donating his.
That was my my opponent who was saying
I'm going to
that.
call your wife and get you in trouble.
All right, so,
okay, President Green, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Could you repeat, you said you made the motion to, you entertained the motion to post the legislative assistant for each alderperson?
For each alderperson, yes. So it'll need to be legislative assistant, dash answer word 1, legislative assistant dash Tom Oldenburg, Ward 2, and so on and so forth.
And do we put full-time in there so that they know it's a full-time position, or is that someplace in there?
It is not currently on the posting, but I'm going to put that on the top that this is a full-time position. And then President Green, I'll save this and send this back to you all, and you can incorporate all of those edits that we made.
Okay.
And do we say about benefits, or where is that?
I currently just added it on under the salary.
Okay.
So as a flag for somewhere that should be included, that's a full-time position with salary and benefits.
Okay.
All right. So I am still willing to entertain that motion.
I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Cone.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Aye.
Alderwoman Rice.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Aye.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Aye.
Alderman Page.
Aye.
President Green.
Aye.
We have 9 aye votes.
By your vote, you sustain the motion. So we will go ahead and work to get that posted. With that, is there any further discussion for today? If not, I think all members are present today, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll see you all soon.